It's time to train with the characters of Marvel's The X-Men with Mr. Sciortino, Volume 1. The X-Men are a set of heroes who show great strength in being unique and diverse in a world that is not always welcoming. They are true pop culture role models for anybody who feels oppressed or shut out because they are different. Follow along with the gifts while I give you a brief history of the book and some insight into some of the characters of one of my favorite teams of superheroes. First, a brief history of the comic. The original version of the X-Men, created by Stan Lee and Jack Kirby, was a group of teenagers, never exclusively male, despite the name, who attended Xavier's school for gifted youngsters. The school appeared to be an elite college preparatory school in Westchester County, New York. In reality, it served as a training facility and headquarters of the foremost mutant superhero team in the Marvel Universe. Led by the powerful telepath, Charles Xavier, also known as Professor X, the first group of the X-Men consisted of Angel, who could fly with feathery wings, Beast, a brilliant young scientist, Cyclops, who emits powerful beams from his eyes, Iceman, who could freeze objects and project beams of intense cold, and Marvel Girl, later known as Jean Grey or Phoenix, who possessed the powers of telepathy and psychokinesis. Mutants like these were both feared and persecuted because of who they were, similar to what was happening in the United States during the Civil Rights era. And the comic addressed the relationship between the heroic X-Men and a public that did not appreciate or even want their help. Let's find out who these mutants are. Professor X. Real name, Charles Francis Xavier. Occupation, mutant rights activist, teacher. Height, 6 foot. Weight, 190 pounds. First appearance, The X-Men #1, September 1963. Charles Xavier was a physically challenged superhero. Though confined to a wheelchair, his mental abilities made him the mightiest X-Man. The public knows him as one of the world's leading authorities on genetics and mutation, but they do not know that he is one of the most powerful mutants alive. A powerful telepath, he is able to both read or even erase minds and to communicate mentally with others. He can project mental illusions, can take mental control of others, and even fire mental blasts. Xavier is the founder and leader of the group of mutants called the X-Men. Most importantly, his dream and life's work is that someday the mutants and all of humanity will live together in peace. Klops. Real name, Scott Summers. Occupation, adventurer, former student and radio announcer. Height, 6'3". Weight, 175 pounds. First appearance, X-Men #1, September 1963. The first young mutant to be recruited into the X-Men, Scott Summers has always been an X-Men leader who is most dedicated to Xavier's ideals. He continually emits force beams from his eyes. Only the ruby quartz lenses of his visor and glasses can safely dispense this energy. Cyclops' body is immune to his own optic energy. His body absorbs solar energy and converts it to the ruby-red concussive force that shoots from his eyes. As a young boy, he had to parachute from his father's plane as it was crashing and burning. When Scott parachuted from his father's plane, he suffered brain damage, which made his emerging mutant power optic blasts unable to shut off. As long as his eyes are open, his blasts can kill. His optic blasts are powerful enough to punch holes through a mountain. That is, until Professor Xavier helps create a visor to control them. He and his brother Alex, alias Havoc, are immune to each other's power blasts. Iceman. Real name, Robert Drake. Occupation, adventurer. Height, 5'8". Weight, 145 pounds. First appearance, Uncanny X-Men #1, September 1963. The youngest of the original X-Men, Robert Drake has the mutant ability to lower temperatures both inside and outside of his body to sub-zero levels without harming himself. Known as Iceman, Bobby can freeze the moisture in the air around him to create any kind of object, from bats to shields to slides. His powers have evolved to transforming his body into an ice-like substance and then back to human form at will. He secretly discovered his powers in his teens. One night, in order to save his girlfriend from being assaulted, he had to use his powers. The community panicked and tried to harm him, but he was rescued by Professor Xavier and Cyclops. Angel, also known as Archangel. Real name, Warren Kenneth Worthington III. Occupation, hero and chairman of Worthington Industries. Height, 6 feet. Weight, 150 pounds. First appearance, the X-Men #1, September 1963. Warren Worthington was born into a wealthy family. At private school, during his late teens, Warren noticed wings budding from his shoulder blades. Fearful of having people notice them, he strapped them closely to his body, but secretly began experimenting with flying. When a fire started in his school, Warren flew to the rescue of his schoolmates, disguised in a nightshirt and blonde wig. He was mistaken for an angel and so headed to New York City to become a costume crime fighter. He took the moniker Avenging Angel. Angel's feathered wings can carry up to twice his weight and bring him up to 29,000 feet, while reaching speeds up to 150 miles per hour. His enhanced lungs enable him to breathe at high altitudes, possesses extraordinary eyesight, and his blood has healing qualities. Beast. Real name, Henry Hank McCoy. Occupation, adventurer, biochemist. Height, 5'11". Weight, 402 pounds. First appearance, the X-Men #1, September 1963. The Beast is a paradox. He looks like a friendly, hyperactive, blue-furred ape who is literally bouncing off walls or hanging upside down by his feet. He is actually a mutant scientist whose extraordinary intellect and expertise in genetics match Charles Xavier. A serious campaigner for mutant rights, Hank has known the pain of being an outcast from normal humanity. He has learned to accept his furry appearance, as well as become a silly prankster who delights in showing off his ever-flowing vocabulary. When he was born, Hank McCoy looked entirely human, except for his enormous hands and feet. In college, he became a football star, nicknamed the Beast, for his amazing ape-like agility. Hank's growing fame brought him to the attention of Charles Xavier, who made him his fourth recruit into the X-Men. Beast has many powers and abilities: superhuman strength, agility, and durability, with enhanced senses and cat-like night vision. He is able to recover with superhuman swiftness from minor wounds and possesses genius-level IQ, with extraordinary expertise in genetics and biochemistry, along with other subjects. Marvel Girl. Real name, Jean Grey Summers. Occupation, adventurer, former fashion model. Height, 5'6". Weight, 110 pounds. First appearance, the X-Men #1, September 1963. Jean Grey was the fifth of Xavier's recruits into the X-Men, but the very first of his mutant students. Originally codenamed Marvel Girl and now known as Phoenix, Jean possesses both telepathic powers, enabling her to read minds and communicate mentally, and telekinetic powers, allowing her to levitate and manipulate objects by mental force. When Jean was 10, she witnessed her best friend Annie struck by an auto accident. It was then that her mutant powers awoke. She could physically feel Annie's emotions as she died. This left Jean depressed until her parents took her to Xavier for help. When she began her training at 11 years old, Xavier psychically blocked Jean from using her telepathic abilities until she was old enough to control telepathy and telekinesis. Magneto. Real name, Max Eisenhardt. Also uses the name Eric Magnus Lencher. Occupation, Conqueror. Height, 6'2". Weight, 190 pounds. First appearance, the X-Men #1, September 1963. Magneto and Charles Xavier were at one time very good friends. The demise came when Magneto fully believed mutants can only be free if they enslave the rest of the human race. In the past, Magneto used the alias Eric Magnus Lencher, but his true name is a mystery. Little is known about his earliest years, but he is thought to have been born into a gypsy family in 1928. During World War II, he was imprisoned in the Nazi concentration camp at Auschwitz, where his family was killed. After the war, he married a woman named Magna and had a daughter, Anya. When a mob prevented him from rescuing Anya from dying in a fire, Magneto lashed out and destroyed the mob. Magneto has since developed the ability to manipulate magnetism and all forms of electromagnetic energy, making him one of the most powerful mutants alive. Juggernaut. Real name, Kate Marco. Occupation, former soldier, mercenary, professional criminal, adventurer. Height, 6'10". Weight, 900 pounds. First appearance, the X-Men #12, July 1965. After the death of her husband, Sharon Xavier married his colleague, Dr. Kurt Marco. Kane, his son, became Charles Xavier's new abusive stepbrother. Kane joined the army but deserted while in Korea. In a cave, he found a ruby empowered by the demonic entity, Sciortino, which magically transformed Kane into a human Juggernaut, a capable super being that was virtually invulnerable, with superhuman strength and an impenetrable force field. He has a helmet to protect his head and mind from psychic attack. Enemy bombs caused the cave to collapse, burying him alive. Years later, Marco resurfaced as the Juggernaut, invading Xavier's mansion, trying to kill him. He has fought with and against the X-Men as well as other characters such as the Hulk, Luke Cage, and Thor. Sentinels. Real name Mark V model. Height 20 feet. Weight, including fuel, 7,400 pounds. Maximum cargo, 2,000 pounds. Flight radius, 400 miles. Maximum level airspeed, sea level, 600 miles per hour. Maximum rate of climb, 450 feet per second. First appearance, The X-Men number 14, November 1965. The Sentinels were created by Dr. Bolivar Trask to combat superhuman mutants. Trask had concluded that a superhuman mutant race was evolving that would conquer the rest of humanity. He organized the first team of scientists to build and engineer the first Mark I models. However, despite being programmed by Trask to protect humanity, the Sentinels decided to take control of the human race. They kidnapped Trask and forced him to create a Sentinel army. The X-Men battled the Sentinels. Most Sentinels possess superhuman strength and jet propulsion units in their feet, which enable them to fly, and can fire lasers and electron beams from their eyes and hands. Mark II Sentinels could adapt to counter any opponent. Hopefully you enjoyed learning about the heroes and villains in the never-ending X-Men saga. There are more superhero videos coming soon. If you enjoyed this, please click like and then subscribe on Sciortino Super's YouTube channel for more super videos. Stay tuned for Volume 2, coming very soon. Music provided by White.